You're listening to the Fayetteville 411 podcast, produced by the City of Fayetteville, where you'll get information about city government and the programs and services we provide. You'll get topics of interest and an inside look into the various departments that help keep our city moving. I'm John Salling.
And I'm Sherry Kropp. Thanks for joining us for the Fayetteville 411. Today we're joined by two members of the Fayetteville Police Department to talk about some of the ways that the department builds partnerships and relationships within the community in efforts to help reduce incidents of crime and improve quality of life in our city. We're joined by Njeri Fikes. She is the Community Engagement Coordinator, and Chaplain Georgia Walker. Thank you both for joining us today.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
We're glad to have you. I know that the department strives to protect our residents and reduce crime throughout the city. But we all know that they cannot do it alone, and it takes residents in the community, it takes partnerships in the community to help do that. So that is what we call community policing, or what a lot of people hear as community policing or community engagement. So explain what that means and why it's important.
I think you raised a really interesting point when you stated that it is something that the police can't do alone. And there is literally nothing that we can do without community support, whether it is partnerships that we develop, whether it's people trusting us enough to even feel comfortable and to feel safe enough to provide information about maybe a crime that we're trying to solve. On the preventative side, it's important for us to build trust in the community. When you have relationships that are based on mutual respect and trust, just like in our interpersonal relationships, for our agency, that helps us. We are able to go into the community and people feel confident that we are working on their behalf. So the events that we do, from the small events to the big events, from the events with young people to the events with our senior citizens, our goal is to establish a bond with our community. It's not an us versus them approach. It is, we are one Fayetteville, we're one city.
And talk about some of those community events that you do.
So we're coming up now on an event that's going to be held on October 2nd, and that's going to be our National Coffee with a Cop Day. Mm-hmm. And it's literally just coffee with a cop in it. It's going to be downstairs in front of our building on Hay Street. So come by, get your free coffee, meet members of our department. We also have movie nights that we do rather frequently, and that's a phenomenal partnership with our community. The way we've been doing it most recently in the last few years is partnering with schools in that particular attendance area. And the principals have come out. The teachers have come out. They've given students homework passes, totally free. AMC Theater partners with us, free popcorn. Family movie, absolutely free on a Friday night. Bring your blankets, loads of fun. But what that says to young people is, hey, this is Officer so-and-so. And this person's a good person. And I think oftentimes we overlook those simple overtures and the importance that they have in building a community of people who see you as a friend. Mm-hmm. Our officers don't walk a beat, and so they're in cars. This is an opportunity in the area that you serve to just literally walk around and meet people. And
those two events, the Coffee with the Cop and the movie nights, it's such a relaxed atmosphere, yes. And it's a way to get to know them, humanize the police officers, right?
Yes.
So those are two great events.
And we also do things that are a little more focused. We do our notification call-ins, and we partner with our probation and parole. We partner with reentry councils, and we partner with local businesses that provide jobs, housing, and we invite people who are potentially on the cusp of maybe reoffending, and we pull them in, and it's an approach that says, hey, you're out now. We want to help provide you with information so you can be successful. And that's one of those things that isn't advertised, of course, but it is another approach that we're taking to make sure that our community understands that at the end of the day, our goal is for everyone to have a better life. And so that includes people who've made some wrong choices. Who among us hasn't made a wrong decision? Sometimes it's as simple as going through that yellow light, and sometimes it's something that's a little worse or a lot worse. At the end of the day, though, we want to make sure that those citizens, when they're back, they have an opportunity to make better choices. And that's really important. And we get a lot of good response from our participants. We even get progress notes, so to speak. So that's really, really good. And then we have our youth approach with our EKG program. And it used to only be in schools. COVID came along, schools were closed, we had to adjust.
And what does EKG stand
So
for?
it's educating kids about guns,
Okay.
and it used to just be in schools with 7th graders and 9th graders. Well, once the schools were closed, that avenue was closed as well. So when we produced a new film in 2021, we said, let's take it to the community. So while we have been able to partner with the schools and doing some evening events, we've taken it to rec centers. We've got church groups. We've had Girl Scout groups who've shown the film. And we've also included parental pieces. So we have our audience primarily of young people, but we have adults that are there as well. And it's talking not just about gun violence, but it looks at what are some of the risk factors that go for every young person. Familial grief, dealing with the loss of a parent, kids and peer pressure, sexting, all of those things that our young people are facing in the 21st century. This is a 37-minute short film that's opening up a lot of conversations. And I think that's really important because we want our young people to know we hear you.
And it's a pretty active month in October here.
Yes.
What's kind of one of our flagship programs that's coming up this month?
Yes, we have our National Faith and Blue. So Faith and Blue is a partnership that Movement Forward started. It's an organization out of Atlanta. And Faith and Blue is nationwide. So law enforcement agencies partner with communities of faith across the nation to do events in their community. One of the things with Fayetteville that's so phenomenal is that we already have very, very strong partnerships with our faith community. We have our chaplains corps, and they work not just during Faith and Blue, but year round. But that weekend specifically, from Friday, October 11th through Monday, October 14th, is an opportunity to showcase and highlight that with very specific programming. This year, we're doing a badge blessing event at Lewis Chapel Missionary Baptist Church. And it is just that. People who are sworn, who have a badge, not just Fayetteville Police Department, but other local agencies, can come out and have those badges blessed by members of our faith community. We're also doing a movie night on that same Friday night. We're going to show Inside Out, lots of new movies, big fun, absolutely free, and that's at True Vine. And those things they're little things, but they're big things. We want to highlight our faith community. It's not a particular denomination, not a specific church, but we're highlighting that partnership and the great work that they do to support us.
And part of highlighting that partnership, we have our chaplain here. Can you tell us some about your role with these events and this work?
Yes, the chaplaincy does quite a few things. We engage with the officers, with the staff, and we also are very engaged with the Faith and Blue. And the Faith and Blue is not just something that's on the calendar, it's something that we take to heart. How can we better engage with the community in the role that we are in with the police department? And so from the time we started with it, we've done several different things. The very first one, we had a toy drive, and we gathered up the toys and took it to DSS, Department of Social Services. So this year, we're doing the blessing of the badges. That's the highlight, not the only thing, but a highlight. And we really want the officers and the Chief of Police, Chief Kimball Braden, to know that we support them and we're there for them, not just in praying, but if you just need someone to talk to, if you need someone to be there for you, then we are there. We're not sworn, so therefore we're not actively engaged in the policing on a day-to-day basis. However, we are available 24/7 if need be.
And that's such an important role that you have, not only for the police officers, but I know that you're also there for families.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so there are times when we want to talk with a police officer. We're also engaged in the community. If there's an incident where they need a chaplain to come to pray for the family because an incident has occurred, we're there. Regardless of the time of night, we go out and we do whatever. It's not on a regular basis, but whenever we're called, we're ready.
Would you guys want to mention something about why you got involved with this work, or any shout out to what you do the rest of the year?
I've always worked in community engagement in some capacity. This is my first time working in law enforcement. But one of the things that really resonates with me is when I was looking at all of the things that they were already doing, it felt good to walk into an agency that was already committed to the community. It wasn't like they had no clue. And I get a lot of calls from other agencies because, quite frankly, they don't have as much going on as we do. And that it really feels good. It's something that Fayetteville should take a lot of pride in, their commitment to the citizens, and that is unmatched.
And Georgia, what about you?
One of the reasons I got involved with the chaplaincy program with the Fayetteville Police Department is because, one, I'm retired military, so I had time on my hands. But it's because I love God and I love His people. So when the opportunity came to volunteer, I filled out the paperwork and I got chosen. And I take a sense of pride in anything that I do. And so to serve the community is one of the greatest things that you can do. I'm also a local pastor, so it just fits right in with what I'm already doing. It's just a little extended version.
For these events that you have coming up, the Badge Blessing and the Faith in Blue event, is this open to the public? Anybody can go? Do you have to register?
It's open.
Okay.
And the movie nights are always like any other movie night. They'll be blasted on our social media pages. So definitely follow us on social media to find out anything about locations. And it's an indoor movie night this year. So if it rains, you don't have to worry about it. Bring the family out. We'll be inside.
And so just to reiterate for people to follow the Fayetteville Police Department on the social media platforms.
Yes.
And then they can also go to the webpage at faypd.com and click
Yes.
on community policing to see some of the things that you've got going on, right?
Right. The community policing tab, there's even a link on there that says request Fayetteville PD at your event. So if you're interested in having us at an event, we do ask that you give us a 2-week however, a little more than 2 weeks is even better because we are a very busy agency and we hate to turn our community members down. But, give us as much time as possible and we'll definitely try to get people scheduled.
Let's give the dates and times of these events one more time.
Okay. So our badge blessing ceremony is at Lewis Chapel Missionary Baptist Church on Rayford Road, and it is from 12 p.m. until 1 p.m. And then that night, we're going to kick off our movie night series. The movie itself will start at 6:30, but between 5:30 and 6:30 at True Vine Ministries off Morganton Road, you will have the opportunity to have popcorn, have ice cream. We also have community partners that set up tables so you can come out, find out about different community resources that are out there. So you have an hour lead time before the movie starts to just have a little fun.
Well, thank you both for what you do within the community. It's so very important, both of your roles. And we appreciate you coming on the show today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And thank you.
That wraps it up for this episode of the Fayetteville 411. The Fayetteville 411 is one of several podcasts that the city produces for our podcast channel, Radio Fayetteville. Be sure to subscribe to Radio Fayetteville, available on most of your favorite podcast streaming platforms.
You can also listen to every podcast that Radio Fayetteville has to offer by downloading the FayTV streaming app, available now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV. You can view all of our video content by visiting faytv.net. To get information about city services, go to our webpage at fayettevillenc.gov. Thanks for joining us.
October is Crime Prevention Month, and the Fayetteville Police Department wants to remind you of steps you can take to ensure the safety and security in your neighborhood. Always secure your home and personal property by locking doors, windows, and gates. Report suspicious activity. If you see something, say something. Report anonymous tips to Crime Stoppers at 910-423-TIPS. And one of the most effective ways to prevent crime is through your community watch programs. Learn more at faypd.com.
The City of Fayetteville is proud to announce the launch of its new Home Buying Hero program. This program focuses on first-time homebuyer education and readiness to prepare prospective homeowners for successful long-term home ownership. This program also provides gap financing or down payment assistance to qualified first-time homebuyers. To find out what type of home buying hero you could be, visit www.fayettevillenc.gov/ECD.